They told her it was just old age. But at 92, Mary proved them wrong, without joining a gym or lifting a single dumbbell. What changed? A few vitamins she almost ignored. In this video, we'll explore 6 powerful nutrients hiding in plain sight that could help you stand taller, walk longer, and move freer. No miracle cures, just real science. Especially the last one, it's overlooked even by doctors. Mary wasn't training for a marathon. She just wanted to walk across the living room without sounding like a bowl of Rice Krispies. Snap. Crackle. Pop. That was her knee soundtrack until she discovered something oddly powerful, and it came in a spoon. The culprit? Low vitamin D. The fix? Not a miracle drug. Not an electric muscle zapper from late-night TV. Just a tablespoon of cod liver oil and a side of common sense. Here's the truth. Vitamin D is the leg strength cheat code for seniors. But most people ignore it like the dusty treadmill coat rack in the guest room. Let's break it down. Vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium, so your bones don't feel like stale breadsticks, and keeps your muscles functioning, which matters when you're trying to do bold things, like stand up without sounding like a creaky wooden floor. And yet, most seniors are walking around with D levels so low, it's like expecting a flip phone to stream Netflix. Not gonna happen. Ever feel like your legs are running Windows 95 while your brain's on Wi-Fi? That's what low vitamin D does. You move slower. Balance gets sketchy. Getting up from the couch becomes an Olympic event, minus the medal. But here's where it gets interesting. As you age, your skin becomes less efficient at making vitamin D from sunlight. So even if you're spending 20 minutes outside, unless you're tanning like a teenager in 1976, you're probably not making enough. And yes, you can eat your way to better levels. Salmon, eggs, fortified milk, they all help. But if you want the superhero shortcut, cod liver oil. 1 tablespoon a day and your bones and muscles throw a tiny party. That's what Mary did. She didn't do leg presses. She didn't walk laps around the mall. She just stirred some cod liver oil into her tea, which sounds gross, but it worked. A few weeks later, her legs stopped acting like jelly. And she hasn't hugged the handrail since. The lesson? It's not always about working harder. It's about feeding your body smarter. So before you invest in another back scratcher with a built-in foot massager, maybe take a look at your vitamin D. It could be the simplest thing standing between you and the stairs. Mary's story didn't stop with cod liver oil. A few weeks after adding vitamin D, she felt steadier, but her legs still tired out quickly, and sometimes she'd get that odd, buzzing feeling, like her calves were plugged into a faulty power strip. Turns out, the next missing piece wasn't her shoes. It was vitamin B12, the kind of vitamin that's barely talked about until things start short-circuiting. Let's break it down. Your nerves are like electrical cables, and vitamin B12 wraps them in insulation, literally. It helps produce myelin, the protective coating that keeps nerve signals fast and accurate. When you don't get enough, signals between your brain and muscles slow down. Your legs feel uncoordinated. You get the classic pins and needles sensation, and not the romantic kind. Worst of all, you may start to lose strength even when you haven't changed your routine. Ever had one of those mornings where your legs feel heavy, like someone replaced them with wet sandbags overnight? That's a classic B12 red flag. Here's where it gets tricky. Even if you eat healthy, your body absorbs less B12 with age. The stomach becomes less efficient, the digestive enzymes slow down, and even good dietary habits can fall short. This is why B12 deficiency is often misdiagnosed. Many seniors report fatigue, wobbly legs, or memory fog, and it gets chalked up to normal aging. But in reality, their nervous system is starving for B12. B12 lives almost exclusively in animal-based foods. Beef, chicken, fish, eggs, dairy, milk, yogurt, cheese. But here's the kicker: if you're over 60, a vegetarian, or on certain medications like metformin or acid reducers, you might not be absorbing B12 efficiently, even if you're eating the right foods. So what's the solution? This is where Mary got creative. Her doctor recommended nutritional yeast, a plant-based, cheesy-tasting powder that's loaded with B12 and often used by vegetarians. Mary started sprinkling it on her eggs and even mixing it into soup. Not only did she feel more energetic, but the weird leg tingles started to disappear. It's easy, shelf-stable, and doesn't require remembering another pill. B12 isn't just a nice-to-have. It's your neurological glue. Without it, your legs won't listen to your brain as quickly, your balance may falter, and your energy can crash before lunchtime. And if your legs feel like they've been replaced with rubber noodles, don't rush to buy orthopedic shoes, check your B12 first. Mary's energy was up. Her balance better. But then came a new problem. Her knees started sounding like a haunted rocking chair. Every step, every bend, every attempt to crouch down and pick up a drop sock was met with a delightful snap-pop symphony. So she did what any determined 92-year-old would do. She Googled vitamin for noisy joints. And guess what kept popping up? Vitamin C. Yes, the same vitamin you associate with oranges, sniffles, and fizzy packets. But here's the thing no one tells you. Vitamin C isn't just for your immune system. It's your body's personal construction crew, especially when it comes to joints, tendons, and cartilage. Your joints aren't just bones rubbing together, though they might feel like that sometimes. They rely on collagen, a protein that keeps your tendons, ligaments, and cartilage cushioned and springy. It's like the shock absorber system in a luxury car. And guess what helps your body make that collagen? Vitamin C. Without enough of it, your joints become stiffer and more injury-prone, movement starts to feel rigid and unnatural, recovery after activity slows to a crawl. It's like trying to build a house with no nails. Things get wobbly fast. By the time we hit 50, our bodies start producing less collagen naturally. Add low vitamin C levels to the mix and things get creaky. Literally. If you wake up stiff, feel achy after a walk, or take longer to bounce back after activity, your body might be whispering, "Hey, I need more C." Mary realized she wasn't getting nearly enough. Her multivitamin had a little, but not enough to make a difference. So she switched gears. Yes, oranges work. So do grapefruits, strawberries, bell peppers, and kiwi. But if you want serious joint support, Mary's new favorite: acerola cherry powder. It sounds fancy, but it's just a tart little fruit with up to 30 times more vitamin C than an orange. A spoonful stirred into her smoothie, and within weeks, the pops and cracks weren't gone, but they were quieter. Her knees no longer felt like they were broadcasting Morse code every time she stood up. Vitamin C isn't flashy. It doesn't get as much hype as calcium or protein. But without it, your joints become the weak link in your mobility chain. So if you've noticed your knees complaining, or you're waking up feeling like you slept inside a suitcase, vitamin C might be the key to moving like yourself again. And no, you don't need to eat a whole fruit basket every day. Sometimes a sprinkle of the right powder or a well-placed pepper in your salad is all it takes. Mary thought she had things figured out. Vitamin D. Check. B12. Got it. Vitamin C. Her knees were finally keeping quiet. But there was one thing she never questioned: calcium. She took her daily supplement religiously, just like the bottle said. But one day, after reading an article about stiff joints and brittle bones, she came across a sentence that made her pause. Calcium is only helpful when it goes to the right place. Wait, what? Turns out, calcium doesn't have GPS. Without the right nutrient to guide it, it can wander into places it doesn't belong, like your arteries, soft tissues, or even your joints. That guiding nutrient: vitamin K2. Let's get something straight. Calcium is essential. You need it for strong bones, steady legs, and to avoid fractures. But without vitamin K2, your body can't tell bone from blood vessel. So while you think you're strengthening your skeleton, you could be stiffening your arteries or clogging your joints. It's like pouring concrete into the wrong mold. Things start to calcify where they shouldn't. That's why studies show that vitamin K2 works hand in hand with vitamin D. Vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium. Vitamin K2 tells it where to go. No K2. That calcium might just set up shop in your knees, your hips, or your heart. Most people don't know they're low on K2. It doesn't show up in a standard blood test, and its symptoms are subtle until they're not. If you take calcium supplements but still feel bone weakness, have stiff joints despite stretching or activity, or have a history of cardiovascular calcification, vitamin K2 might be the missing link. Here's where things get a little niche. Vitamin K2 doesn't hang out in leafy greens like its cousin K1. It lives in fermented foods like natto, a Japanese soybean dish that smells like gym socks, certain aged cheeses, grass-fed butter or ghee. Now, unless you're a fan of exotic, sticky soybeans, the easiest route for seniors is grass-fed ghee or butter. Just a tablespoon a day can deliver a steady, bioavailable dose of K2 without needing a culinary adventure. That's what Mary did. She swapped her regular butter for grass-fed ghee. A small change, but her mobility improved, her joints felt smoother, and her doctor even noticed better bone density readings at her next checkup. We often focus so much on getting calcium, we forget to ask where it's going. Vitamin K2 is the difference between the calcium becoming a shield for your bones or cement in your joints. So if you're taking supplements but still feeling creaky, crunchy, or more like a statue than a person, it might be time to bring in the traffic cop. Mary had made amazing progress. Her joints moved more freely, her balance improved, and she even took a short stroll to the park on her birthday. But at night, her legs still had one last trick up their sleeve. Cramps. Not the kind you can stretch out. These were the kind that woke her from a deep sleep with a sharp jolt, like her calves were staging a mutiny. Her doctor's words were simple: "You're probably low on magnesium." Most people think of magnesium as some kind of background mineral. But for seniors, it's an essential conductor, keeping your muscles relaxed, your nerves communicating, and your blood flowing. Here's what magnesium does behind the scenes. Helps muscles contract and release without spasming. Supports nerve function so your legs get the right signals. Aids in energy production, meaning less fatigue from everyday movement. Regulates circulation so nutrients and oxygen get where they're needed. Without enough magnesium, your legs feel like old batteries, slow to respond, quick to cramp, and always low on charge. You might be low on magnesium if you've noticed leg cramps that show up randomly, especially at night, a heavy, sluggish feeling in your legs after mild activity, tingling or twitching that doesn't seem to go away, restless legs when you try to relax or fall asleep. Sound familiar? As we age, our ability to absorb and retain magnesium declines, just like with B12 and D. Add in common medications, like diuretics or blood pressure meds, and it's easy to fall into a deficiency without realizing it. Magnesium is found in leafy greens like spinach and kale, pumpkin seeds, almonds and cashews, whole grains, beans, and dark chocolate. Yes, chocolate. But if you're not big on eating a wheelbarrow of kale every day, here's Mary's tip. She started snacking on pumpkin seeds after lunch, just a tablespoon a day. Within a week, the leg cramps began to fade. Within 2, they stopped entirely. Bonus, she didn't have to choke down any horse-sized pills. Magnesium isn't just about comfort, it's about mobility and confidence. When your legs cramp suddenly or feel too tired to climb a step, it chips away at your independence. And nobody wants to feel held back by something that can be fixed with a simple snack. Think of magnesium as the oil in the machine. Without it, everything squeaks, sticks, and slows down. With it, your legs can move smoothly, quietly, and confidently, just like they used to. Mary had one last issue. Her balance was back, cramps were gone, energy improved, but her legs still felt tired before the day even started. They were colder than usual, and after sitting too long, they felt swollen. She wasn't alone. Millions of older adults experienced the same thing. The culprit? Poor circulation. And the solution? It just might be vitamin E. We often think of vitamin E as something for skin or hair, thanks old commercials. But it plays a much bigger role inside the body, especially for seniors. Improves blood flow by keeping blood vessels flexible. Acts as a natural blood thinner, reducing clots and buildup. Delivers oxygen and nutrients efficiently to the muscles, especially your legs. Helps reduce inflammation and swelling in extremities. When circulation slows down, your legs don't get the fuel they need. You feel tired without doing anything, and swelling can set in fast, especially after long car rides, time in a chair, or simply standing still too long. Do any of these sound familiar? Legs or feet that feel cold, even in warm rooms. Mild swelling around the ankles after sitting. Tired or heavy legs, especially in the late afternoon. Muscle soreness or pain without much activity. These aren't just normal aging. They could be signs that your circulation needs a boost. Vitamin E is surprisingly easy to add to your diet if you know where to look. Mary started simple: a tablespoon of wheat germ oil in her morning smoothie, a few slices of avocado on toast, almonds and sunflower seeds as a midday snack, and on special days. A drizzle of olive oil on her salad, yes, the good stuff. These small changes helped her legs feel lighter by midday. The cold, stiff sensation started to ease, and she no longer needed to massage her ankles after every long sit. You can take all the muscle, joint, and bone vitamins in the world. But if blood isn't reaching your legs efficiently, nothing works like it should. Vitamin E is that final support beam, the one that keeps the system flowing, the nutrients moving, and the energy circulating right where your legs need it most. Don't let poor circulation sneak up on you. With a few tweaks to your meals, you could see a difference in just weeks. No treadmill, no compression socks, no magic creams. These 6 vitamins aren't gimmicks or trends. They're backed by science, rooted in nature, and can be found in your kitchen or local grocery store. Vitamin D for strength. Vitamin B12 for coordination. Vitamin C for joint support. Vitamin K2 for bone health. Magnesium for energy and muscle calm. Vitamin E for circulation and comfort. Together, they support legs that feel stronger, steadier, and more independent, whether you're 64 or 94. Mary didn't set out to biohack her body or optimize her aging process. She just wanted to make it up the stairs without planning her escape route halfway. But now, she walks with confidence, without fear, without fatigue, and without asking for help every time something drops on the floor. The truth is, these vitamins aren't really about leg strength. They're about keeping your independence. Because when your legs start to slow down, your world gets smaller. And when you fix that, everything else opens back up. A walk around the block feels like freedom. A grocery aisle feels like possibility. And stairs, they become just stairs again. So if someone tells you weakness is just part of aging, smile. Then prove them wrong, one step at a time. Ready for what's next. Because there's one other thing seniors often overlook that could add years of movement, clarity, and energy, and no, it's not a vitamin. But we'll talk about that in the next video.